Hey, Ann Palmer Westcoat, you think my kids are going to go to prison because they did not experience the structure and discipline of the public school. So let's talk about the school to prison pipeline. So the rest of y'all, please click on this comment to see the original video where she made this assertion. The rigid, militaristic, inflexible structure of our public schools actually increases the risk of our kids going to prison, especially children of color and children with learning disabilities. This juvenile justice and civil rights issue is called the school to prison pipeline. So let's look at that a little more closely. The school to prison pipeline refers to the policies and practices that push our nation's school children, especially our most at-risk children, out of classrooms and into the juvenile and criminal justice systems. This pipeline reflects the prioritization of incarceration over education. So what does that mean? In struggling public schools where teachers are overburdened and administration is focused on control rather than education, schools have implemented zero tolerance policies, and they have increased the number of safety officers at their school. Students are suspended or expelled for minor infractions such as bringing scissors or nail clippers to school, or for manifestations of their disability, which is actually illegal under federal law. Rapidly increasing expulsion rates for relatively minor infractions are the entryway to this pipeline. Kids' needs are not being met in schools, they're not being supported, and not only that, they're being booted out. And these overly harsh disciplinary practices push students down the pipeline and into the juvenile justice system. Suspended and expelled children are often left unsupervised and without constructive activities. They also fall behind in their coursework, leading to a greater likelihood of disengagement and dropping out. The presence of school resource officers, that is, police officers in our schools with our kids, leads to a greater risk of children being arrested and charged with crimes for things that previously would have been disciplinary issues handled within the school. I mean, if you go to a barber, you're going to get a haircut. You bring a cop into a school, you're going to have more escalation and more arrests. In one state, up to 80% of court-involved children did not have a lawyer to represent them for these minor infractions. The activities were as minor as missing school or disobeying a teacher. And for that, they ended up in juvie. By the way, these students are far more likely to be students of color and far more likely to have disabilities. So if we want to talk about doing right by our kids, setting them up for success, and keeping them out of the prison system, we need to address the school to prison pipeline. The way it is a civil rights and disability rights and child rights issue. The way it harms everybody in our society. I encourage you to do more reading on the school to prison pipeline issue rather than spending your time leaving ridiculous comments like these.